Hey, welcome to Facts at 5. I'm Michael Clark. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020, and I am here at the LTV Media Center, and I am with Morgan Vaughan. Say hello, Morgan.
Hello, Morgan.
So we have a little bit of COVID-19 news to start us off. What's happening with that?
Well, after his briefing yesterday, Suffolk County Executive Stephen Bellone went on to thank those taking part in demonstrations that are here and for doing so peacefully. He acknowledged the concern when people gather to protest, they increase the risk of infection. And I think a lot of people are very concerned about this.
Yeah.
We want people to be able to protest, he said, and to express their First Amendment rights, but we want people to do that safely. That's why at protests we have officers handing out face coverings, et cetera. As for COVID-19, the numbers are declining, but there's still so much pain and anguish out there in our community and in our country and in our county and in our country today, he said, noting that the road to recovery will be a challenge. Overnight, from Sunday to Monday, I think it was 6 people passed away from COVID-19, which is, so now we are at, for Suffolk County, I think it was 1906 or 1907. It'll be at the end. I apologize for not having that exact number. So we're hoping that people are being careful and smart about protecting and expressing their First Amendment rights as they should, and that this will not increase this thing that we've just worked so hard to combat.
Right. Right. Cuomo said something about that, right? In terms of let's not
undo what we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty smart because we're trying to get our economy back. That's not to say that this isn't important, that people shouldn't, do what they want to do according to our Constitution. But we just need to make sure that we don't all get sick again.
Now, we got a couple of events coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? One on Saturday and one on Sunday. I'm not too clear about the one on Saturday, the one on Sunday.
You know what about the one? So why don't you talk about the Sunday one?
Go ahead. Okay, so the one on Sunday is at the Hook Mill. It's from 2 to 5, and but they are very strongly stressing to socially distance, must wear masks. It's got to be peaceful. They're doing all the right things, getting the permits for everything from the town, and I think they're going to have a pretty big turnout. A lot of young people. It was put together by a girl from high school.
Okay.
And, and they're going to have, speakers and that type of thing. But I think that's, depending on the weather, obviously, but I think they're going to have a very good turnout of that.
And that's Sunday, June 7th. And this is, I think it's called Say Their Names.
Say Their Names, yep.
So, and that's going to be saying the names of the people who've been...
I'm assuming that's what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
A lot of the people that have been so unfortunate to, be killed in that.
And then what I saw, and this is for younger people. This is definitely like skateboarding youth, I think. And I might be wrong about that, but on Saturday, June 6th, beginning at 12:30 at Herrick Park, and then moving over to the Hook Mill. Now, I've just seen this on Instagram, so I just want to let people know that might be happening. This is, but I think this is teenagers maybe who are leading this. I'm not quite sure, but it will be another peaceful protest.
Right. And bottom line is, pay attention to we're still in the pandemic. Pay attention to that part of it. Wear the masks or do what you got to do.
Right.
That's our recommendation anyway. People.
And I think the recommendation of the CDC.
Yeah.
We're in good company.
But people do what they want to do when they're outside, kind of.
Right.
But we're hoping that it's not going to cause a spike in that. And of course, the main thing is getting their point that they're really unhappy with the fact of the way the black community is being treated.
Racism, right. And I think that leads right into the curfew in New York City.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
No, I think you should talk about it.
Okay. So last night in New York City, so that is Monday night, June 1st, there was a curfew starting at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Apparently that according to Mayor Bill de Blasio, he acknowledged that an 11 p.m. curfew didn't succeed in preventing widespread looting, including along Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. As a result, tonight the curfew begins at 8 p.m. in New York City, and it goes through Sunday, June 7th.
Okay. And he's also making it very clear that he does not want the National Guard in New York City. Cuomo keeps offering it up,
Right.
and de Blasio keeps saying, nope, we have plenty of police force. We do not want the police presence. He really truly believes that that's going to cause more problems than it is. Different schools of thought to that, but
Right.
interesting concept. The town of East Hampton issued an alert on Monday advising business owners intending to reopen after the coronavirus pandemic halted activity in March. After they stopped in March, that they must file with New York State an affirmation that they follow mandated safety protocols, and business must also prepare and post a state-mandated safety plan. Now, this sounds really big and really complex, but I went on the site, checked it out, and it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
You know, you fill out the plan right there on the website, and it goes very, very quickly. The town issued an alert urging businesses to immediately review and make arrangements for safe operating procedures and file the required affirmation with the state in preparation for immediate reopening when their industry sector is authorized by the state to resume. Businesses are to file a health and safety protocol affirmation through the state's New York Forward site at forward.ny.gov/New York Forward. And it really sounds more complicated than it is. In the first of the 4-phase reopening plan, which commenced on Long Island on Wednesday, businesses in the construction, retail, for curbside and in-store pickup and drop-off, fishing, agriculture, wholesale, manufacturing, forestry, hunting industries are eligible to reopen after making required filing. Phase 2, when authorized for Long Island, they're saying that's pretty imminent, right?
Pretty right.
Yep. Will include offices, real estate, in-store retail, vehicle sales, rentals and leases, repair, cleaning, commercial building, and hair salons and barbershops.
We hear a lot about the hair salons and barbershops.
Yeah, to finally get my haircut. Depending on the metrics that include new COVID-19 infections, hospitalizations, and deaths, phase 2 could begin around January 10th, they're saying. So that's good news.
And also, all the information, the New York Forward site is really, really great, but also the ehamptonny.gov, our own town's website, has a lot of information on it. And they said you can find the information on the New York State information and the links to New York Forward on that site.
Okay.
Also, what's coming up is the budget vote. So it's going to be held, East Hampton School Board budget vote,
Right.
And elections for 2 members. There's 3 people are vying for 2 seats on the Board of Education.
Yes.
So that is going to be held remotely on Tuesday, June 9th at 5 p.m. at the East Hampton Union Free School District, 4 Long Lane, at which time absentee ballots will be tallied up as well. So this is to adopt the annual budget, to elect 2 new members, and to discuss the capital reserve fund will be followed in terms of building the cooking school, apparently.
You had a $2 million cooking school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to transact such other business.
Right. What's interesting about that is normally they would do that in front of a live audience, and thus there's people watching over the count.
Right.
But now we're filming it and showing it.
And so we're going to be there. LTV will film it.
Yes.
Is it going live or is it?
It's
we're just going to
live
film
on
it?
YouTube, I believe.
Live on YouTube. Okay,
And
cool.
So by law they have to have that. So we will be there.
I wanted to jump to, because I know we had this one thing about the Met, but I wanted to jump to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Okay.
Because this is from the Star, Christopher Walsh. New York State-run Department of Motor Vehicles offices in Suffolk have begun the process to process vehicle registrations and other transactions by mail, beginning Thursday, this coming Thursday, so that is the 4th. Transactions will be accepted through secure drop boxes at each office.
Didn't we always have registration by mail?
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is, I guess, for driver's license and road tests and all sorts of other things. Okay. I mean, what does he say? and it also has to do with their online instructions for returning license plates by mail. I guess there's a lot of different things that you do. I haven't been to the DMV in a long time because I do it by mail.
Right.
So, but anyway, I know some people whose license expired or whose kids want to get their license have been having trouble. So now we know that at least there's a beginning to getting back to being able to go to the DMV.
So they're doing road tests too.
They're going to start doing road tests. Yeah, they're gonna, and it's gonna be that the tester is gonna be, in like a hazmat suit apparently with like a guard and everything, and the person who's getting the test has to wear a mask and God knows all what else.
Now I heard that on the parallel park they got to park 6 feet away from the car.
Oh, stop!
Okay, I'm getting on that one.
No, that's just if you're from New York or New Jersey. Okay, so talk about the Met.
Go ahead.
All right, well,
You're the artsy.
the Metropolitan Opera, the nation's biggest performing arts organization, has announced that it will cancel its fall season because of coronavirus. So this means that they are anticipating reopening on December 31st, 2020.
Okay.
So they're going to open like basically the day before New Year's Eve, 2020.
Right. If they do.
Broadway has already announced that it's closed through September 6th.
Which was the summer season.
The summer season. So now
we're into the fall.
But I'm personally wondering if the Met, which is a huge leader, obviously, if they cancel, what that bodes for other major arts organizations and how that will eventually affect out here. I know that that Guildhall streams the live events, the live Mets, in HD, which is an amazing experience and really fantastic. So right now they're streaming stuff every night, but it's obviously reruns. It's not current performances, and that locally, and I'm not sure about everybody, but I do know that Bay Street has canceled its main season.
Right.
They're doing other things, and if you go to your favorite arts venue in the Hamptons, their website, people are doing pretty well at keeping up with offering online content. But it is partly, I think, because of these big venues can't make the money they need to with social distancing guidelines.
So basically 2020 is canceled.
I wouldn't say that was a fact, but I would say that it is sure seeming that way at this point.
It's a do-over. We're going to do a year
if only we
over at the
could.
end.
Yeah. Hopefully there will be some good that comes out of all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I assume that 2020 isn't canceled because I'm hoping there's still an election on November 3rd.
Oh, right. We can't cancel the election.
Can't cancel the election.
Or can we?
No, we can't.
I don't know. Weird things
We can't
happen.
cancel the election.
Well, we on a programming note, following this, we will have Joe Lauro and Claudia Pilato, who are going to be talking about the AFTEE event that we're going to be showing here on Saturday night. Feed the Need, the best jams with some great, great talent on that. And this is the first time we're doing an interview where they're kind of interviewing each other. They'll be here, and they were interviewing each other because of the whole social distancing thing. There was no room for us, and we're you guys do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, see how it goes. And once again, thank you to our sponsor, Facts of Five, Sound Aircraft Services, and be sure to follow us on social media, on YouTube, ltveh.org. And
be a producer. Hint, hint.
Yeah, that's a very good. If you got pictures, especially if you're going to the protests and things like that over the weekend,
Or whatever.
get us the pictures, and that's one thing. But I mean, we're the country's changing. We're seeing a lot of things happen. If you some ideas in your head about how you might be able to impact, right? Have a show. Do a show. Do a talk show about it, right? This is public access. You can do that. And
You can do literally whatever you want.
Yeah.
This is First Amendment in action.
Yeah.
Here.
Give us a call, or, go onto our website, or send us a note on facts@ltveh.org. We'd be happy to talk to you about what you can do. Well, you got the time.
You got the time, and we are ready for it.
Yeah.
We need everybody's voices.
Yep. Okay, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Hello, Claudia. How are you?
Joe, I am great, good as can be expected in this crazy world we live in right now.
Yes, I hear you. That's for sure. Same here. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you got involved with AFTEE.
You know, All for the East End, AFTEE, isn't really new. We started back in about 2013, and the whole idea was that there was a great need on the East End for nonprofits to have access to additional capital. So we kind of came together to be a fundraising organization and to support there's over 1,000 nonprofits on the East End, and that's all five East End towns. So back then we raised some money. We had a huge concert on the North Fork. Some people might remember it. You know, we had Avicii was there. Sadly, he's not with us anymore, but it was really successful, and we were able to give out some grants. So we did that for a number of years, and then it kind of everything sort of quieted down. And then recently, with this pandemic, the new needs in terms of food instability and the emerging issues that are coming from this horrible pandemic really became front and center. And AFTEE reinvigorated with the help of Hampton Town, who came forth initially, the first ones, with a $150,000 contribution. And then it just went up from there. So I've really been involved with AFTEE for a very long time, now trying to reboot it and make money available to all of the food pantries and the organizations dealing with food instability during this time.
So your AFTEE then, in this case, is like a conduit for helping to feed the need with all the local pantries. So whatever fundraising they're doing on their own, but you're jumping in and actually helping fund what they're doing in their grassroots efforts to feed the local community that's in need.
Exactly. So all nonprofits raise money on their own, but they're also always looking for grants. So what AFTEE is doing, because as an umbrella organization, we can reach further, we can do more. They have to deliver services. They don't have as much time to do fundraising and marketing, although they do it. So this is a new pot of money that they then can apply for a grant to help provide the services that they provide. And, you know, what's happened is the numbers of people that are going to food pantries and who have food instability has not doubled, but probably quadrupled. It's just and we don't expect that this is going to go away anytime soon. So, you know, AFTEE's really saying we're here not for today and tomorrow, but for the future, because when are people going back to work?
You know, I know 5 close friends that have been affected in terms of losing their jobs right off the bat, you know, immediately, you know, and so this is so real and so important. And, you know, the work that AFTEE is doing is just so vital for this community. And thank you for being there for everybody, for sure.
Well, you know, the other incredible thing that we're finding is because we deal with all 5 East End towns and we're the only organization that's doing that, we hear things. So one of the things that we found out was that one of the problems that pantries were having was staffing. So one of our board members came up with an idea to use his PPP money, the money that they got from the government to pay employees, but the restaurants weren't open, so they couldn't put them all back into the restaurant. So they started to lend their employees to the food pantries. So those people were being paid and put to work at the same time, and it helped the food pantries because they just needed volunteers and they needed staffing. So and then we found out that they needed bags. So I went to B&B Bank and they gave us 5,000 bags. And so we're also sort of a resource. We're finding that we're able to sort of troubleshoot a little bit. It's been really gratifying. And the number of people coming forward with donations is over the top generous.
I think a lot of people just don't realize how sort of boots to the ground it is. Like, you know, you hear an organization, AFTEE, and a board of directors and all that, but you guys are out there like getting bags and bringing them to the food pantry so they could put the people that are going there actually have a way of carrying the food. I mean, that it's so basic and so real, you know, and it's good that people understand that. It's just not a bunch of people sitting behind a desk at a computer. You're actually doing the good work to really help, get that can of peas into somebody's bag, somebody's house.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
have
feed
another
them.
really interesting example, and another board member, because these are all volunteer. AFTEE has no paid staff, so we're all volunteers. One of our other board members was at one of the pantries. A lot of produce came in, and there was a surplus. He put the surplus food in his car and drove it to Riverhead, to some of the pantries that needed it there, and to other spots, because how are we going to get it there?
Yeah.
So it's sort of that. You're right. It's really boots on the ground. And, the big thing is we have to keep this going. We have to make sure that people know that they can easily make a small contribution, any kind of contribution at AFTEE.org. And that's really where you came in with an amazing project that we're really excited about.
Well, I'm glad of that. Yeah.
So tell me more. You are a musician and you're a producer and you have this wonderful company, Historic Films. We're really excited to have this special concert that you've put together to benefit AFTEE.
Well, I'm on the board of the Sag Harbor American Music Festival with Kelly and Carrie and John Landis and Cynthia Daniels and lots of great local people. And we do this thing every year. This would have been our 10th anniversary. It will be, whether we're going to have a festival or not. It's still up in the air. We're trying to get around that, but it's sort of a side project for us. Now, I produce shows for the festival, special shows, and I know all the local musicians. I play in a local band called the Hoodoo Loungers, and I know lots of people. So I know them on the level of not just being a booker or a promoter, but being a fellow musician. I play with some of these bands. Everyone kind of shares different people. So it was easy for me to reach out on a personal level. Well, Kelly actually did that, but my name was associated with it. They know me, they know Kelly, and we sent out letters to about 16 or 17 different artists, and just about every one of them came through. And the whole concept, rather than what you're seeing now is these live, sort of streamed at the moment events, I decided to approach it differently. I love old variety shows. I remember the telethon and all that fondly. And we decided to kind of take that approach, in that rather than just coordinate everything, okay, you're on, there's your feed, you're going, anything could happen. I decided to give it just a little bit more control. So we asked people to send in performances. Now that could be a little scary too, because just because you're a great musician doesn't mean you know anything about being a filmmaker. So, I could say that it was sort of like the agony and the ecstasy of what we received, things that were totally well produced and just beautiful, and then things that were so basic. It's like, we really want these musicians to look as good as possible. They're contributing a performance, but how am I going to do that with this video? So we had some extra editors, a fellow by the name of Del Cullen, and Anthea Carr, who works in my office. And we took some of these things and we just kind of, as my father-in-law used to say, dolled them up. So, if we got a skinny video from someone like Winston Irie, his video was just totally charming. But he held his iPhone, vertically rather than horizontally. So it was very difficult to work with because, we're going to be on the big screen, the big TV screen. So what we did is we removed him. We put a background. He did it just with the guitar. We added a bass and a piano and some voices and a drummer. So we gave him a background band. Right. And we also just kind of embellished on his video to make it, a very charming, fun performance, which he had given us, but we just made it a little bit better. So it's all of that. And then we had people like Jim Lennon and Michael Daly go out and shoot new things at some of the local pantries, which they or I produced into little 1-minute PSAs that will kind of be the commercials that will go on in between these performances. So what you're going to get is actually a little over an hour show, performance, introduction. We had people like Bonnie Grice and Brian Cosgrove and Gianna Volpe, and many of the local DJs, Anthony and Bill Evans, all do PSAs and intros to the artists. So I think it'll be a fun show, and it covers all grounds. We have national people like Judy Carmichael and Randy Brecker and Ada Ravati and Loudon Wainwright III, one of my heroes, that all contributed without, a question. They were just down for it. And so, them mixed in with, some of our local favorite performers like Nancy Atlas and Gene Casey and Inda Eaton and the Hoodoo Loungers. Hope you like us. and many others.
Well, I mean, it's a brave new world, and you've taken it on. And for AFTEE, it's just so amazing to have everyone come together to help us. Now, this is going to be many people can see it easily. It's June. It premieres on June 6th at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, that's right.
And repeats on June 7th. But
on
then
LTV.
On
here
LTV.
On LTV. But it'll also be available on the AFTEE.org site,
Right.
AFTEE.org,
yeah.
as well as SAGHarbormusic.org. It'll be on those sites live at 8 o'clock. It'll also be simulcast. Since it's a music show, it's audio really is fine. It'll work.
Right.
It'll be on
LNG.
LNG, that's right, and I think a few others that
Yeah,
we're
I
just
think
waiting to
RIV,
confirm.
we're
Yeah.
waiting to confirm a few
Yeah.
others, but we have such iconic musicians. And I think it's really amazing that they've given us this time because musicians are struggling too. We're talking about people who are going to food pantries, who are out of work, but I mean, the entertainment industry has been turned on its head. These are people who would have gigs at restaurants and be doing
Oh, yeah,
concerts and all of that. And to have them come together for this it's so unbelievably generous that I don't know, I just feel incredibly humbled by the talent and the generosity that was put into this. Musicians and, of course, the Sag Harbor American Music Festival and you and all the people you brought to the table. So it's pretty incredible. We're hoping that this continues to sort of get the visibility that people know more about All for the East End. I want people to know that any organization on the East End that's dealing with food instability and emerging issues can put in a grant application at AFTEE.org, and the money that we raise is going to be in that pot for everybody to access. So this wonderful music piece, this special concert, is really a way just to kind of get us all together and give us like a little bright moment in this very difficult time.
Yeah, and another thing that people should realize, as you kind of hit on, is a lot of these musicians are full-time musicians.
Right.
When I went over to see Loudon Wainwright, his entire fall, up through his fall concert series, concert tour was canceled.
Right.
Everyone. Fortunately, I have a day job, but a lot of I have a 9-piece band, and I would say that 5 of those people are totally out of work.
Right.
So giving their time is really like asking a contractor to build a house for free.
Right.
It really is. I mean, people have this misconception that musicians like hang out in the park and, play bongos all day, but no, it's not true. They have bills, they have families. So it's hurting everybody. And some of them might even be using the food pantry. Who knows?
Exactly.
So it really helps everybody all around. And we're, and the Sag Harbor Music Festival is just delighted that we could have this union with AFTEE and make this thing happen.
Yeah, I think it's called Best Jams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were also saying that we're helping the community one song at a time.
Right. That's right.
June 6th at 8 and June 7th at 8.
On LTV, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really important
Right.
that people spread the word
Right,
and that lots of people access the different ways that they can listen to it. Also on Facebook Live, I think.
Right, and allarts.org, which is PBS. It's because there's been a changeover at PPB, which is very soon going to be Channel 21 and Channel 13 in New York, are taking it over. We're connected to them, and they've been very, 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 very helpful. And while they couldn't broadcast it on 21, because apparently a charity can't have a fundraiser for another charity. I mean, a
that's
not-for-profit.
true, right.
So, but Diane, who is the general manager there, figured out a way to make it work. And we're going to be on the All Arts channel, which is basically American Masters, all that. You can go there. You can see the program anytime, as
That's
it
really
will be running
exciting.
on LTV and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Allarts.org.
Well, the community has allowed AFTEE, through their generosity, to already give out over 30 grants, and that's to all different size organizations, North Fork, South Fork, the 5 East End towns, and I think almost over $500,000. And that money goes directly to the people who are buying the food, delivering the food, making sure that they have the things that they need. So it has just been, it's been an incredible, fast-paced effort that's taken a lot of time in terms of everybody who's been working on it. And I'm just so excited about the concert. I hope that everybody tunes in, whatever way they do that, because we have iconic musicians. We have the best talent anywhere you could possibly imagine. So,
Right. Well, it's been a challenge. We're going to be finished very soon with it, and I think people will like it. You know, the variety is astounding. I mean, there's such diversity from, Mama Lee Rose and friends to Randy Brecker and to, Nancy Atlas and Gene Casey, and then Ludmilla Brazil Trio. So we have some good, Latin music as well in the program, and jazz. Judy Carmichael has come aboard and has done a wonderful, sort of ragtime stride piano piece for us. So, yeah, it's quite a variety show.
yeah, hopefully there'll be some dancing. I guess I can't say in the aisles, but dancing in the kitchen.
Dancing on the couch.
Right, dancing on the couch. So June 6th and 7th, AFTEE.org, Sag Harbor Music Festival. No, it's sagharbormusic.org.
sagharbormusic.org, yes.
Facebook, many, many, many ways to tune in. And we just thank everyone in advance for
Thank
being
you.
part of this.
Please tune in. It's one of the great and needed local causes in these unprecedented times.
Right.
So help us out, enjoy some great music, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, one purpose, one community, all for the East End.